we are watching everybody.
We're literally, g'day Facebook. I hope you are all well and had a great Thursday. How are you?
Look, I am amazed, is what I'm feeling right now, that I made it here on time after jumping off the flight from Tassie.
Yes.
And crusading through the Melbourne traffic to get here on time. I made the commitment, and I never like to be late.
No, you did very, very well. I was very impressed, actually. Guys, I hope you're doing extremely, extremely well, if not a little bit chilly. For those of you who don't know, this is the fabulous Emily Wallace, buyer advocate extraordinaire, LinkedIn expert, just general entrepreneurial brain, which is wonderful. I love spending time with this woman. I think that she's got a lot of value to give, not just the real estate industry, but just the business world in general. I think could pay attention to you. And I reckon you'll probably get one or two. Get one or two little bits, all right? So, gang, as some of you may have seen, g'day, Dave. Hope you're well. Hi, Viz. Wow, hello. Some of you have already seen the way that our Soul by Live thing works is we go through human first, professional second. We've got some topics that we've posted over the last few days that we're going to go through. If you have any questions, post up on here. Add any comments that you want to add. If anyone disagrees with anything that we have to say, which can happen, feel free to pop that on there as well. At the end of the day, any interaction's great. So, Emily.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know who this woman is, she burst onto the scene September 1st last year. Burst onto the scene. I picked her up very, very early on and felt that this is someone that is definitely going to have the intention to do extremely big things in business world and in real estate land as well. And since then, we met, was it just before Christmas or just after Christmas?
It was tail end of last year, I'm pretty sure.
Tail end of last year, we met and had a coffee. And since then, and I'm sure a bunch of you will have seen this person kicking goals left, right, and center. She's gone from strength to strength. Her networking ability is absolutely outstanding. And for those of you that may judge, and I'm sure you've copped a load of judgment, and we've talked about this off camera. At the end of this conversation, you will 100% understand and know and appreciate it makes absolutely stuff all difference as to your demographic, your age, your gender. Doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. If you've got something to say and it's got some value to it, this is a shining example of how it can take you places very, very quickly. So, thank you for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for racing back from Tasmania to come see me. So I'm going to say that she cut her holiday short just to come and say hello to me. But, if it's true or not, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm going to roll with. Mahesh, how are you, my friend? I hope you are well. So, Emily, human first, professional second.
Sure.
Give these guys a bit more of a background as to who you are as a human.
Yes.
What you're into.
Yes.
Because I know you're into classical music, so we'll go through that a little bit more.
Yep.
She's got a set of pipes on her as well. Tell the crew who you are.
Sure. So my name is Emily Wallace, and I am originally from Tasmania. That's why I have landed back in Melbourne late this afternoon. And my family's still down there. I very much love visiting the family. Who I am as a human, well, I'm a very independent person. I'll say that first and foremost. And I think that sort of came from moving out of home when I was 17.
Yeah.
Went and actually to the UK as a nanny.
Did you?
Yeah. Yep.
Whereabouts?
For nearly a year in Essex.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
The great part of Essex.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, moved to Melbourne, studied, did my degree in primary school education of all things.
Yeah.
Which is just so funny how it's looped back into what I do now. And we'll touch on that later. Yeah,
because Emily's got training programs and things that she's also either bringing out or has brought out that is also doing extremely well. We're going to talk about LinkedIn as well at some point.
Yes.
Because somehow this woman's cracked it. It's taken me years to not crack it. So we'll talk about that too. But I think straight away, I don't want to interject too much, but I think your primary school background it shows so much with respect to how well you communicate as well. I think that must have played a massive part.
Big time. I also think I am fortunate in that I, in terms of video content and being presentable and speaking clearly, I did do a lot of performing arts, speech and drama, singing, Stedfords. There used to be, Mum used to do one of the Stedford mums where
white
the costumes ready and like that. So, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong though, I was very nervous, but I actually feel like I lost all those nerves as a child, and so now I'm just used to it, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I appreciate that a lot of people don't feel confident when they jump on camera. So it's something I don't take lightly.
So one thing that we talk about in the auctioneering fraternity is things like acting lessons, things like that, to help your vocal projection. Working from your diaphragm, all that sort of stuff. So you're big into your singing?
Love my singing. So some people look at me, I think there's an assumption that you have to be large to be an opera singer. Not saying that I'm tiny, but I'm certainly not large. Sometimes without a party trick of being able to sing opera every now and again. So
don't worry, I won't get you to do it now, through fear of the glassware. But you are involved with some choirs and so on and so forth?
At the moment, no, and my goal is to get back into it because work has taken over, I'll be honest. But I was singing with a few different choirs, and I did do music at university as well at Monash.
Awesome.
The goal is to successfully audition for the MSO Melbourne Symphony Orchestra choir.
Wow.
So that's
not just a small ambition. I just want to go work for. Just want to go sing in the Melbourne Symphony Choir. Just on the couch while you're setting up 5 million businesses. All right, now talk to us about why you got into initially bioadvocacy, and then we'll roll from there.
So for honesty, I didn't really know what a buyer's advocate was.
Okay.
I really it made sense when I learnt about it, and I have had a passion for real estate from a very young age. I used to go out on Saturdays just because I wanted to go and have a look at properties. And in terms of coming on the buying side, there was a need there, and there still is a massive need. The market is not as saturated. There's something like 65,000 real estate agents in Australia, versus around 450 buyers advocates.
Wow.
Now, so the ratios are so disproportionate, and I really wanted to level the playing field for buyers. That's why I got into it.
Okay.
Another reason I got into it, once I understood how the referral network worked in terms of partnering with brokers to help them have their pre-approved clients come through and purchase, with agents who kept seeing the same buyer over and over again that they didn't have stock for, those sorts of things. Also family lawyers to help people coming out of divorce, purchasing again. I realised that the demand and creating that partnership of referrals wasn't hard to do, but I had to get myself out there because I was a nobody. And to a degree, I still am a nobody, but I'm definitely more of a somebody than I was when I started.
Yes, well, and look, and and there's no magic formula to this, and I'm sure you will completely agree here.
Yes.
You especially in the initial stages, and this applies really, really well to agents that want to improve their social media presence but don't know where to start. Essentially, there is no ideal starting point.
It's literally just start. It's not
just
about where do I start, what do I do. People ask me all the time, where should I start? But I haven't got this ready yet.
100%.
No, just start. If you look at my first video, I literally decided that day, let's do video. There were no captions on it. It was put around the wrong way. I filmed in portrait rather than landscape. Everything was wrong. But you had to start, right? Because I knew that my next one would be better and better and better.
100%.
And so you just, there's no magic formula. You just have to start and you don't stop.
That's the key thing. Do not stop. Do not give up just because.
Exactly.
Just because it didn't get you a listing or a buyer lead or whatever within the first 5 minutes of you doing it.
It's a long-term game.
It is a long haul thing.
Yeah.
So you talk about evening the playing field.
Yes.
And it's for some reason with these, I'm really good at segueing.
Okay.
I don't know why.
What's the segue?
Yeah, so the segue is, you feel that there needs to be a level playing field for buyers. So talk to us about what we're going to mention initially, which is what are the general concerns for buyers? And look, we can all say that we're tuning in.
Yes.
But you are quite firmly on the other side of the fence,
Yes.
and most likely getting a lot more intel with respect to how agents are using or abusing or whatever the buying population.
Yes.
Even now, when buyers are a lot more thin on the ground, generally speaking, qualified ones.
Yes.
Yet you find, and we've had this conversation already, you find that there is still a great degree of discourse as a result of how buyers are interacted with. Yeah. Talk to me about that.
So it's no secret that you need a buyer in order to sell the property that you're listing, right?
Indeed.
And therefore, regardless of me being in the role as an advocate, when you're treating buyers, they are golden. And this is not rocket science here. I think where my frustration and where buyers' frustration can lie is I used to keep tallies of who would call me back. And when they would call me back.
I remember you saying this.
Yeah.
Tell
one
this
weekend. Look, the good news is it has slightly improved since we last spoke.
Right.
But the weekend that we caught up, there was around 40% of people who called back. Out of 10 open homes, 4 people had called back by the Tuesday.
So how many called back on the Saturday?
No one calls back on the Saturday.
Why? Guys, right. Yes, this is the Top Tip Tuesday shit.
That's
Danny.
right.
He's in the sport. He's in News Corp.
No way, there you go.
He was working for Melbourne United, and now see, he's not even in real estate, and he knows who you are. Jeepers!
Do you know how people come up and do this to me?
Yeah,
it makes me laugh. Actually, it makes my day. So if you do see me, feel free to do that. I'll know.
Not that. Make sure you do that. All right. Far out. We completely digressed. This does infuriate me. I did a talk at the start of the year for a franchise group, and if you look at the totem pole of people that get attention when it comes to landlords, vendors, tenants, buyers and tenants are sort of at the bottom of the totem pole. And yet the key thing is so many buyers. For point one, you're right. There needs to be two sides of the equation to make it work. But point two, how short-sighted do we have to be to not understand that those buyers are going to be vendors at some point? Those buyers are going to know people that might happen to sell a house. If you have a bad experience with an agent as a buyer, you're going to be way more likely to bag them out. Way more, because you meet more. Now, this is the real kicker. How agents do not call an advocate back is insane. If an advocate rocks up to an auction, I always say this. So a lot of agents fear buyer advocates coming into. I don't know why. As an auctioneer, I see a buyer advocate at one of my auctions. I am like ding 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 ding, because they're only going to rock up to an auction if they've got some action.
Very much so. Either that or they're researching for their next purchase of a client they've picked up. So I will go to auctions of similar descriptions to what I'm looking for. And therefore your next listing might be a property that my buyer is looking for. Now, don't get me wrong. On the flip side, as an advocate, I need to have strong communication with agents as well. And I give them as much feedback as I possibly can to give to their vendor, because I know it has been hard. Giving some feedback to let them know, look, your price needs to be aligned, or those sorts of conversations. I understand that. But I would expect, and also keep in mind, I am sometimes dealing with sellers and I'm watching that experience. I would expect a call back by the Monday afternoon.
See, that's crazy. Guys, if you've not got your buyers connected with, if you're not connecting with your buyers on a Saturday after all your opens.
That's the time that they're free as well.
It's
they're 9-to-5 workers. They don't want to call on a Monday.
It's not just the fact that they're free. It's the fact that every other agent under the sun in that area has had some form of connection with them. It's going to be first in, best dressed, guys. And I understand, and I know that your house might not be the one for them. You might not have the right house to sell to them. But for goodness sake, you know what I mean? For goodness sake, if you're in a buyer in a buyer-thin environment, and especially if it's an advocate that's gone through, because they've done all the pre-quali for you, by the way. But with any buyer, it just baffles me.
It's a tricky one. Look, I have seen improvements, definitely.
Good.
What my fear
That's through bloody anxiety because they've got no one else to sell to.
But this is my fear, right? Okay, so let's take a step backwards. The reason I believe why we weren't being followed up is that the market had been hot. Buyers were coming to them. I once had an agent tell me, and this will always remain, I will always remember this. He said to me, not knowing I was an advocate, I didn't get your name and number, so if you have interest in the property, you can give me a call. You've got my card.
Wow.
Okay. So
not only is that highly illegal from a legislation point of view, wow.
So anyway, the mentality of that they will call, like buyers will call the agents. That mentality got wiped because they realised, oh my goodness, the market's dropped. We actually have to really work these buyers and get them to a point where they're comfortable to purchase in a declining market. Now, dare I say, what I'm fearful of is they've gotten this adjustment period. They're really looking after buyers more than before.
Yeah.
I feel now if we are heading up in an increasing rising market, which with all this perfect storm at the moment we might be, we cannot lose looking after buyers. We can't jump back into that. It's a hot market. They'll come to us. The properties are to sell like this. No, because if you are actually working in the best interest of the vendor to get the highest price possible, every single buyer that went through that property had at least considered it to walk through the door, right?
Yeah.
Their time on a Saturday is precious. They're not just walking through just because they feel like it. If they're seriously looking, then a phone call to work out where they sit at the very, very least. But also ask them, what's your preferred method of communication? Because some of them will, you send them a text off and they'll write straight back to you. Now, I know there's pros and cons of this, but finding out how they would like to be communicated to is key. Even my buyers, some of them just like emails. They can do email really quickly. It's easy. Prefer to do it that way.
Yeah.
So that's also key.
Oh, wow. I've mentioned this a couple of times on social. I mentioned it on Monday on the way to one of my clients. Gang, please don't have amnesia. Please don't have a short memory and think, because I saw it on Saturday, and I'm sure you did as well.
Yeah.
Where there was a number of agents that got on the social waves, they got on their Instagram, they got on their Facebook, and gave it large about the fact that the market's turned, here come the buyers,
Yeah.
We are in such an intelligent, a consumer intelligent sort of environment now.
Yeah.
Buyers are still going to be extremely conservative.
They're very cautious, I can tell you.
100%.
They are very cautious.
And I've got this belief, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, whereby I believe that, for anything to really get a grip of the buyers or the vendors, it's generally sort of a 3 to 6 month turnaround for buyers.
Yes.
And probably a 6 to 12 month turnaround for vendors.
Correct. Yeah.
So vendors generally have to have a bit of a lag when it comes to catching up with the market.
Yeah.
But buyers catch up with the market quicker.
Yeah.
However, if you don't pay attention to that lag, your damage, the damage that you're going to take from a reputation point of view is going to be way beyond that.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Very much agree.
Now, aside from the lack of communication, what is there anything else on the buyer side of the fence that you feel is a common issue that could be addressed with relative ease?
I feel like at times agents are just selling the listing that they're walking through.
Okay.
So some of the best agents that I've dealt with have a list, not only of just their listings, but their office, all the listings that they have. Now, every office operates differently, and I know there's different incentives and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if you're there to help, I remember going to an open in Keysborough, actually, and the agent said, look, this is really not right. He said, and without me even prompting, he said, actually, let me just pull out this list. I'll let you know what we've got here. Also, I've also got 2 coming up around the corner, new everything. So market knowledge and stock list knowledge. If you have to pull out your list with it there, that's totally fine. We're not expecting you to remember it at the top of your head. But giving them a sense of direction. This one isn't for you. I'm not going to push this sale. It's not for you, and I understand that. What else have I got for you? Let me have a look.
And the other thing is, they might be umming and ahhing and erring on the side of no, but then if you're prepared to show them other stuff, it might actually take them back to your original one and actually confirm that, oh, you know what, this one actually works for us.
Exactly.
And I had this conversation with a leading agent out in the outer southeast who has a buyer agent.
Great.
He's got a buyer agent in his pod.
In-house,
and when I first went into the office, there was very much a divide between that leading agent's stock and the rest of the office's stock.
Right.
I asked the buyer agent, I said, how many of the other properties have you been through? Oh, not that many. And look, and I understood because she's working for that lead agent.
Sure.
Fair enough. However, I said to her, surely your boss is going to be way happier if you have a greater efficiency with your buyer database because you can knock off one or two of other people's stock.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe yours are maybe a priority.
Yes.
But if you've got nothing, surely you're better off clipping a selling commission off that listing there from that other agent that's within your office. The brand is going to be represented a lot better as well because you've helped that listing get sold in a short period of time when days on market are longer.
Yes.
Everyone wins if the brand wins.
100%. I do, from a outsider looking in, I can almost tell the structure of certain agencies by looking at how they operate with their teams.
Right. Okay.
Because some have great cohesion and they're really, a team mentality, whereas some are every man for himself, off you go.
But you know what? That if it was me, it kind of works opposite as well. So if I was looking out for me, myself, and I was like full shark, I don't care, it's all about me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give a stuff whose stock I was knocking off.
Yeah, exactly.
I would not
That's
care.
So true. Yeah.
If I can get a buyer and but he goes shark and get another agent's listing knocked off.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it makes no sense. Whichever side of the fence, it makes no sense for you to not know your fellow agent's stock.
Yeah.
It's absolute nonsense if you do not know your fellow agent's stock.
I agree.
End of.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I want to pivot.
Let's pivot.
We've ranted for a little bit. Rant over. I want to pivot.
Yes.
And I want to talk about starting a business.
Sure.
All right. I want to go down that path because we're in the same boat.
Yes.
We're both in startup mode.
We are.
And we've both faced challenges. And we can relate it to the real estate industry, but also we can just talk about business generally and relate it in and out of the real estate game.
Yeah.
Because essentially an agent is a business within a business.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
And I want to talk to you also about, because I'm dealing with a number of female agents, and I don't want to do this whole male-female thing, but I feel that you have got some real value because of the example that you said. You don't give a stuff. Yeah. The fact that you're a woman, you just do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And even though you are ridiculously obsessed with chocolate. Like
the Cadbury sponsorship is coming.
It's
I can
weird.
feel it. They wrote back to me this morning.
Did they?
Yes, they did. They said I'm definitely in the running to be one of their biggest fans. So I'm playing it cool. I'm trying to.
You're not going all fandom. You're not going all fangirl on it or anything like that.
But the idea is that maybe over time, when I build up a big enough following, they'll go, "Damn it, we should have tagged her." It'll be their loss, not mine.
So, aside from the chocolate thing, all right. Tell me, in terms of the journey from the September 1 when you first started, we talked off camera, and I hope you don't mind, about challenges from within your space.
Yes.
I want to talk about that as well.
Very much so, yeah.
From within the buyer advocacy circle, and then greater challenges that you faced, not only as a female, but just as a startup business, how you gained traction without having initially that immediate sort of, social proof. Sure.
Yeah. Which is hard to do, and somehow some method in the madness, people assume I've been in business longer than I have.
Yeah.
When I tell them, like, really, only that long?
But why is that?
Because my standpoint on it all and my approach to it was to flood the market with knowledge and value.
Yeah.
So that's what if you look through my videos, they're giving information for free. Yes, that is helpful. It's it's not giving away my service,
Mm.
but it's showing I am knowledgeable, I know what I'm on about,
Mm.
and I'm confident about what I'm on about.
Mm.
Also, I was very aware, whether I like it or not, that I am a young person in a lot of people's eyes. Now, I don't see that as a barrier,
Mm.
but I'm aware that there is a mentality of, what would you know, you're only 26 now, 26.
Which is what one buyer advocate
did
literally
Yeah,
said directly to you.
Yeah,
What the hell do you know?
Yeah, I've copped plenty of flack from people, and it's funny when in the moment when it happens, you can't help it. Your heart's racing, and you're so sort of like, why? But my goodness, is that my motivation every single day? When they're like, oh, you want to do better so that you can prove them wrong, big time.
And that's something, there's no harm, in my opinion. There's no harm in having a chip on your shoulder.
No, not at all. I think it's how you deal with it, and the fact that, look, my energy spent on worrying about that is not very effective. My energy spent on moving forward is much, much better.
Yep.
So it is massively to do with mindset. I listen to so many different podcasts and
top two or three.
Kerwin Ray, Unstoppable,
Mm-hmm.
and any of the Gary V audio experiences.
Yeah,
all
cool.
his stuff.
Yeah.
That is key, and I didn't have my mindset right in about week 6 or 7 of the business. Went backwards, wanted to get a job, thought I couldn't do it, and I sort of, I guess, self-medicated in a way with all these podcasts and things. I was like, right, I choose to go forward and I will not go back. And I guess you have to make that choice, and once you get over that mental hurdle, you literally are unstoppable. Like, you just keep going. Now,
I want to just talk, I want to dig into that crossroads moment.
Yes.
Where you were 6 or 7 weeks in.
Yeah.
Every agent experiences this. Every director experiences this.
Yeah.
Any person that's owned a business either will or has experienced this. That crossroads moment. So, was it a case of the fact that it wasn't happening quick enough for you?
Yeah, 100%. We are an impatient society. Okay, we want things now. Uber comes in 3 minutes. Deliveroo comes in 25 minutes. We want things now.
Yep.
And the patience element of it all, and waiting and keep doing, and you will get results. I struggled with that big time.
So you jokingly said self-medication.
Yeah.
You talk about podcasts being pivotal to that.
Yep.
What else, outside of trying to immerse yourself in knowledge, which is super important, clearly.
Big time, yeah.
What else was there? What else did you do? Because listening to a podcast isn't going to be the magical remedy.
No, I actually took myself away for a weekend down Geelong Way, and I just worked on my vision. What do I actually want to achieve, and what mental state do I need to be in to achieve that? Because this, going back to a job, I'm not going to be able to successfully run multiple businesses being in a job. It doesn't work, right? Nope. So once I got over that part, breaking it down into weekly targets for myself, and that is the hardest part of being self-employed, being accountable to yourself. So then I reached out and I sought out a accountability partner. Someone who was in a completely different field, and we just agreed we'd check in each week to see how we were going, and that was key as well. Then I realised
Are you still doing that?
No, because I can actually be accountable to myself.
Right.
It took a while to learn, but I am pretty hard on myself as it is. But I am very accountable now, whereas I used to struggle.
Okay. Yeah. So having accountability partners is super important. I was talking about that with the team, with the director today. Yeah. You so need accountability partners.
Big time.
And the thing is, I think the one thing that I think we all need to get over is the fact that we ain't going to be good at everything.
No, and that's also hard, especially when you're in startup. So cost, like money going out, it hurts.
Yeah, big time.
And trying to work out what you should outsource to elevate your dollar productive activity. Yeah. It's like you've got to spend money to make money, and that mentality is really hard to get your head around.
Oh, man.
But when you do it, and you do it well, and you understand where your strengths lie, you can really see an increase in
100%. I mean, I'm going through this myself right now, where I'm sort of at that point where, from a capacity, from my own personal
Yes.
capacity,
Yes.
I'm reaching a point where, you
So
know,
somewhere.
and you know, you throw in a couple of kids
Yeah, I
into
couldn't imagine.
you throw in a couple of kids into the mix there, and it gets interesting real quick.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, spending money to make money, taking the risk on that money, hoping that that decrease in personal income is going to eventuate into something greater,
Yes.
and having the belief of that. So, whenever you have some sort of reasonable expenditure,
Yes.
right? When dollars are that tight, which
Yep.
lots of businesses have been established for a long time in real estate now, are at this point right now.
Yes.
Make or break, cash flow is a massive issue.
100%.
Talk us through the process that you go through, even if you have a subconscious one or whatever. When it comes to spending that dollar,
Mm-hmm.
how do you justify it with yourself? You know, how much do you talk to people? How much do you soundboard? What do you do?
I think the biggest thing is to work out, first of all, break down past that immediate return on investment to know what direction am I heading in and how will this help me get there quicker, faster, and what is it then and allowing me to do on the flip side. So if I let go of, for example, I hired a virtual assistant.
Yep.
If I let go of making my social media quotes on a Canva on a Sunday, what does that allow me to do? Well, it allows me to have some time to myself, so actually I'm better focused when I come into the office on a Monday and productive. And it's just talking through that. What is this allowing me or the business to be able to do? And some decisions don't make sense. They're not the right choice. The biggest thing I have learned is when you have made a wrong decision, to recognize it pretty fast, fix it and move on. Now, more so, and I imagine I would encounter this later down the track, hiring staff. If you've made a wrong hire, and Gary Vee speaks about this a lot.
Hire fast, fire fast.
Big time.
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
you've made a poor choice, then don't, what have you got to lose?
Yeah, that's it. The biggest issue that I'm seeing across a lot of directors right now is indecision.
Yeah.
Is indecision, where they've got a decision to make, but they're just not making the decision.
Yeah, just do it.
Make the decision, move forward, and if it ain't in the right direction, you can always change direction.
That's one thing I think I find hard to understand, because I'm a very quick decision maker. If I know something and I trust it's going to work, I will go and do it straight away. I don't mess around. I don't waste time. So I find it hard to understand when people are on the fence and indecisive about that, which makes it hard when you're a buyer's advocate sometimes. When people indecisive, it's very.
Oh man.
That's a different type of choice, but a choice where you are going to, the decision's right and you need to make it. You make it. You do it. But I can appreciate that's not a skill that it's a skill you learn at the time for making a lot of decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, gang, things that I'm taking from this is, if you don't try, you won't know. That is a massive thing.
Yep.
If you don't try, you won't know.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, geez, in the short time we've been in startup mode, I think between us we've probably made a stack of mistakes. And we'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
But gang, the other thing when we joked about the podcast and so on and so forth, and we just brushed over it, you ain't gonna know more unless you go find out more.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to think this is an osmosis thing.
Yes.
Because of the fact that everything is so easy to get.
Yes.
They feel that they can just go get.
Yeah.
Without actually making a bit of an effort.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties in with this whole law of attraction thing. Now, you might feel that or think that Emily is lucky. I bet you've probably been called lucky on a number of occasions.
Lucky, brave.
Yeah. The thing is with all that, gang, I am not a believer in the law of attraction unless it's been fueled by effort.
100%.
And that is the big misconception about law of attraction, is that you can just go hum.
Yeah, no. You
think positive vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have to put in the effort, even if it's just knowledge. Yes. I hated reading. I can't stand reading.
Yeah.
I promised a good friend, Phil Nosworthy. Phil, I hope you're well. I promised I'd read his draft of his book.
Yeah.
And it's only supposed to be an hour-long read. It's supposed to be a real easy read.
Yeah.
And it's not because the book's hard. It's because I'm useless at reading.
I can't read either.
But The power of podcasts and
Yes,
so on and so
audio
forth.
books, like absorb it. Don't waste time in traffic listening to the radio.
100%.
Listen
100%.
to value. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that, well, you are a product of your environment, but you have a choice to create your environment as well.
Yeah.
So.
And all of this is free.
I know.
It's free.
There's so much free stuff.
You don't have to go onto some multi-$1,000 course.
No.
You can just go on YouTube, hit up podcasts. If you're looking at industry podcasts in Australia, there's some really great ones.
There's some awesome ones within real estate.
Oh man, I mean, Tom Panis did the $1 Million Agent System with John McGrath, which is absolute gold, always will be, forever and a day. You've got my mentor, Rick Rushton's Voices of Value with Peter Kakos. They bring a lot of stuff outside of the industry and relate it to their jobs and stuff, which is amazing. You've got the guys Claudio and Matt the Hood. They've got their podcast as well, The Mentors, which is incredible. Again, this is all free, so you've got no excuse other than you can't be asked. And if you can't be asked, whose fault is it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the extra 1% that you keep doing over and over that sets you apart, because people won't do it.
Exactly.
And we know that.
And the other thing, and the other big thing that Emily has done and will continue to do is that whole giving of value, giving of knowledge. That's what she said to me when she was only a couple of months in. I'm gonna keep giving knowledge. I'm gonna keep doing my best to provide people with lots of information. Now, you will have, some of you, I've no doubt, will have seen the Top Tip Tuesday thing. If you watch a load of them, right? If you watch a load of them, you will find that a lot of those tips are so super simple, ridiculously simple, that to you and I as agents or professionals, we're like, my God, that is like the most obvious thing in the world. But the thing is, there's a whole stack of people that don't know the obvious.
Buyers, do you know how people message me like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that tip. I never would have thought of that.
And it'll be the easiest thing in the world.
The one, measure the car stacker restrictions. So many people message me saying, thank you so much for that tip. Never thought about it. Never checked it out.
I've got an SUV. It won't work.
Fit.
You're not
like obvious to people, in our communities. I get it. But not obvious to people who aren't in every day of the week.
And if you're an agent and you are not doing this to your general community, if you have not got vendor videos, buyer videos, common questions as well. So this is something that I've been trying to get to a few of my clients is, guys, you all know the common questions that you're going to get asked. Maybe it's an idea to put it on wax, get it on video, and broadcast it. And then if you've got if you're going to send a pre-listing email out, if you're going to a listing presentation for a potential vendor, you know a bunch of the questions that you're going to get asked. That are going to take half an hour of your listing presentation where you are not listening to them. You are broadcasting at them. And it's the general crap that you will brush over, tend to look a little bit blasé about it because you've said it a million times. And then the perception is that, not really that fussed about me. You know what I mean?
Well, you get tired of answering the same questions.
So that's it. It gets boring.
Yeah, it does. So collate them. Perhaps get your vendor, pre-meeting, get them to watch a series of videos. Then they already know you and a sense about you before you start talking and walk in the door. But also you've cut out all that time, and then you actually get to, let's focus on you and your situation, not all the frequently asked questions about putting on the market or whatever strategy you're
100%. 100%. Yes, there's going to be specifics, and that is, of course. But if you can get rid of some of those standard things that always get asked, and this is for BDMs as well, because landlords always ask the same stuff as well.
I can imagine.
If you get out of that and you can create more of a dialogue where you get them talking about their situation more than you broadcasting at them. If you in your meeting, if they're talking more than you, you're on like Donkey Kong. You are on, and then some. Not only that, if you're a consumer and you're watching this, by the way, or if you're in any other business, if you're talking to a consumer or a customer and you can have that conversation where you get them talking more about them to you, then they will feel enamored by the fact that you've actually given stuff.
Big time.
Not hard, is it?
Not hard.
But it's very hard for a lot of agents, business owners, so on and so forth, whichever field you're in, to not use this and this in proportion.
And I think the self-awareness of that as well, and even to be open to having someone come into your listing presentation and give you feedback afterwards about, how did it go. I've actually I've recorded some of my buyer consult, like my 1 hour when I offer a free consult to sign. I've actually recorded some of them and listened to them back and played them to other people to get feedback, because that's how do you get better as an individual if you're only critiquing yourself.
100%.
It doesn't really work.
Absolutely.
So that's something else,
And auctioneers, you will all attest to that. We all have to get judged. We all have to get critiqued.
Yes.
Because we're in a human-based service industry.
Yes.
So therefore, you've got 7 odd billion people on the planet. You ain't going to have the magic formula for all of them.
No, not at all.
You ain't going to have it. Now, I want to talk about networking.
Yes.
And then move that into the importance of networking in your startup.
Yes.
Phase, and also segue that into LinkedIn, which is where you seem to have really hit a chord. All right. So in terms of networking, and you will have seen on her Insta story, she's a stack of networking events, making the effort to get up, get her ass out of bed, get herself to these networking breakfasts, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. How important has networking been to you and your business early on?
I couldn't be sitting in business still if I didn't do networking.
Yeah.
In fact, when I look at where my referrals have come from, most of them, they're either LinkedIn or face-to-face networking. And it has been key. Also from a self-development point of view as well.
Yep.
When you're networking, you have to talk to people about what you do, and you get so much better at articulating it in a creative way, because especially when I see people who have roles that network a lot, for example, mortgage brokers, how do you, convey that message without saying I'm a mortgage broker? Getting better at that sort of thing has actually been massively beneficial, but starting to get known, because I was a nobody. I didn't come from real estate. So the choice to network and be known and put myself out there, I can talk to anybody really now, because the varied people that you meet at these events, you find common ground, and it grows you as a person as well as business. The one thing that I underestimated that I enjoy the most is finding who I can connect someone else with. So when I meet someone, they tell me what they do. Oh, I'm a financial planner. Great. So where does your business mainly come from? Oh, this and this. Okay, great. I know some of those people. Let me connect you.
Yeah.
Now that pairing, they remember that you connected them. Even if you can't help them directly, who is in my network that I can give to you? And I don't see many people do that effectively. Someone told me, this approach to take in networking, and I've stuck by it, and it served me very, very well, connecting others.
And then when you relate that to a consumer point of view, you have a network there, and we all talk about, referring to a conveyancer or a broker or whatever, the primary ones.
Yes.
But if you can, whilst you're networking, if you can work out how you can assist someone that is in a completely different sphere of influence, then the power of that is just so significant, because even if they are 2 or 3 degrees of separation, by making that connection happen, those degrees of separation on the way between you and them will get filled.
Yes.
And then you end up creating a much greater network, like squared, cubed, because of the fact that you've managed to get someone from out of your sphere.
Yeah.
And that works with our consumers. Have a think about how your consumers can benefit from your network, because then you're adding value. Now, Michael, what kind of networking?
So I do both like membership based and then ad hoc. So I'm a member of the Fresh Network. They have hubs in most main suburbs of Melbourne. I do referral hubs, which is a bit of a different structure. They have a lot of social events in the city. If you're not a member, you can come to the big social every month. Good quality people, and that's why I stuck with them, because the people there are really, really good and great connectors themselves. I'm a member of the Bayside Business Network as well. They have great events. And then, guys, get on Eventbrite, put in Networking Melbourne this week, and then find what events are on. That's what I do. Probably most Mondays, work out where I'm going for the week. And sign up for everything that I need to do.
Now, you got to understand, because I'm a massive networking advocate, huge networking advocate. And the one thing that I will say is be prepared to spend some money finding out.
Big time.
And understand you ain't going to get something from every single event.
No.
Now, if you go into, and you've got to prime your mind when you go into these things, because if you do that, then chances are you are going to end up finding, Richard Wiseman, Did You Spot the Gorilla? Fabulous book, real easy read, even I can read it. Talking about priming your mind to spot opportunities.
Yes.
And if you prime your mind to go into something with, how can I give value today?
Yep.
That's how I prime my mind as I'm going into it. How can I provide value? And then it heightens my sense of understanding what my key skills are, and then looking at ways to collaborate and create interdependent relationships that will then serve everybody in a better way.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So don't expect to get stuff from every single one.
No.
The minute you go into something expecting things is when you won't.
And you'll be disappointed as well.
100%. If you go into something, into a breakfast, into a dinner, into a like a sports event, like in Melbourne United in business or Football Victoria or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
If you go in there expecting nothing, but being open and primed to potential opportunities, then you can absolutely find gold in the least you would expect in the least places.
And it's about who they know. Not obviously them. It's not a
100%.
It's not a one transaction. It works. It's who do they know? Because it's so valuable, and it's also taking it from that. The best connections happen. You meet in a networking environment, and then you exchange cards and you follow it up. That's what people don't do.
Yeah.
And you go and grab coffee with someone that you've connected well with, and you see how you can help each other out.
Yeah. Now, Michael, follow-up question: have you left any networking groups? Like heaps?
I haven't yet.
You haven't?
No.
I say heaps. I say heaps.
The actual group. No, I'm still part of a member of all the ones that I signed up to.
I say heaps. There's a couple that I went to, sign up. So I signed up for a BNI out in the southeast.
Oh yes.
I personally got a lot of value from that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are quite skeptical about the BNI side of things because fees are generally a bit higher.
Yes.
It's a bit more sort of school teacher type accountability, point scoring, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I personally got a lot of value from it, to be perfectly frank. However, there's been some where logistically it just has been impossible to, because if you're going to commit to a networking group, you have to commit to the networking group.
Yes.
You have to commit to it. I've had ones where there's been breakfast and I've been happy to go, but they're like, I'm out southeast and it's a 7:30 a.m. start in Richmond.
Yeah.
I've gone to them and I've got some value, but then when the second kid arrived, it just didn't work. It wasn't worth the stress and the hassle at home. Now, it wasn't to say that networking group wasn't providing value, but you've got to look at it as a totality thing.
Yes.
And, you've got to look at, protecting your own sanity as well.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I'm fortunate in a way, I guess, that it's just me. So I can go to things of a night time or a morning, doesn't really matter. It's my own schedule. But you do have to be conscious that you are, once you commit, particularly if you're in a group where you're holding a seat, like a spot.
Yeah.
Because someone else would pay for that spot, right?
Yeah.
So you really need to make sure you're actually accountable to showing up.
If you're going to be there, be there.
Be there, yeah.
You can always spot the real estate agent because they're always on the phone. Like you always can. In every room. You can always spot the real estate agent because they are always on their phone.
Yeah.
Put your phone away and be present for God's sake. Yeah? Because otherwise, what's the point in being there? Go back to bed.
Yeah.
If you're going to be there, be there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cheapest. Anyway, now, how you have managed to, because you mentioned a lot of your referrals are coming from the networking face-to-face and also LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I still haven't worked out how you've managed it. It's doing my head in, to be honest. But this young lady here is somehow, still working it out, somehow managed to crack the LinkedIn code that I'm struggling with.
A lot of people struggle with it.
Yes. And to the point where this is how you started your training side of things. Yeah. So, so you started by doing some LinkedIn training sessions.
Yep.
How to sort yourself out and gain value from LinkedIn.
Yes.
Because the sales navigator and so on, so the paid stuff on LinkedIn for a long time was so bad.
Yes.
It was so ROI negative.
Yeah.
Like you spent so much money and got very, very little.
Yes.
You've managed to do it organically in the main.
Yes.
How?
there's a lot of elements that come into making it like the perfect post with, I mean, no post is perfect, but I mean, in terms of timing of your post, who you're engaging with. So I do have Sales Navigator.
Yep.
But I use that as a search function to find who I need to be connected with.
Yep.
And it is worth the $99 you pay per month, because if I get one good referral source out of that, actually the whole year is worth, getting one good one. So that engaging in the people who are on your feed, but providing content, videos with subtitles, because people watch LinkedIn while they're at work and they cannot listen.
Yeah.
They need to be working. So they're scrolling through, working. They need to have subtitles so they can read your content, and engaging those people. So there's certain algorithms in LinkedIn. It is organic reach. I don't pay for my posts.
Well, you can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
But like on Facebook, right, you can
boost.
You can't boost on LinkedIn.
No.
You really do need to be posting content that people want to listen to, who are actually interested in, and get them in there. And it needs to be business related. Unfortunately, some people have dipped into the Facebook land and started posting what you would post on Facebook on LinkedIn. You need to be platform conscious.
Yeah.
Again, my Instagram, if you follow me Insta, so different to what I post on LinkedIn,
100%.
right? Like,
That's where
I don't post anything too much about chocolate on.
No, you don't. You don't, and you don't like stalk Cadbury's.
No. Tag to me in a comment.
I was about to say, I bet you have. I bet you have really.
Trying to trick in the marketing manager. We'll get there. So yes, you need to be conscious. And a lot of people ask, I actually had a real estate agent reach out to me just yesterday, and he said, look, I want to post something about what he's doing at the moment. He said, but how do I make it relevant to LinkedIn? I said, it's got to have the business spin on it. It needs to be a business, professional related post that people can relate to. So yes, there are plugins that I use to help with automation on the adding component. But people have to accept my request to be their connection. So it's not like a, Instagram followers, we can go and follow all the people and they follow you back. But yeah, there's a lot to learn, and the training component, so EW education, that was born to facilitate teaching people how to use LinkedIn effectively. So I run 3-hour workshops, and the last one was very successful, to my surprise, to be honest, because I knew the demand was there, but I'd never hosted an event before. I was really winging it, and it just turns out that I was winging it pretty well. So I have another one coming up because there's enough demand there.
Now, when is that?
It's the 19th of June.
19th of June.
Wednesday,
where?
19th of June.
Where?
It is at the Cluster, which is on Queen Street in the city. Time? 11 a.m. till 2 p.m.
11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Where can we find this?
There will be an Eventbrite link that I can put up. But it's posted on Eventbrite, LinkedIn Lunch and Learn. So you get lunch as well.
So Emily's gonna, under this in the comments, Emily's gonna post the link to her LinkedIn session. Well worth going to. Now, because a lot of and going back into the real estate industry for now. A lot of agents are obsessed with Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, they are.
Tell me if you are. I'm sure you will, because you're a little bit biased. But would you say right now agents should be focusing their attention to Facebook and LinkedIn and leaving Instagram as a third place?
No.
Really?
I see value in Instagram and LinkedIn as a perfect combination.
And not also Facebook's third. So I've noticed you don't do as much on Facebook.
No. Now, I could be very wrong. My train of thought is Instagram is behind the scenes and exclusive. Facebook is now a marketing tool, essentially, and marketing is in like boosting posts. And it's a lot of noise on Facebook. The benefit in Facebook is the groups. I like the groups on Facebook. I think they're very well facilitated. But Instagram and LinkedIn, to me, is a perfect combination in the real estate industry. You have the professional side of you and the business side, and then you have the behind the scenes, relatable, approachable side. Facebook, I wouldn't discount Facebook, but if I had to rank the order, it would be LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
Wow. There you go.
Personally, don't take my word for it.
But guys, you need to get involved with Emily's EW education. You need to go and get your head around LinkedIn. It's something that we're all ignoring, but we need to get on board with. If you're a business development manager, if you're a BDM and you are seeing potential landlords, it is a must. absolute must if you want to improve your credibility.
Yep.
Agents that want to be heard on a professional scene, on a professional level, need to be on LinkedIn.
But I think about it. Who uses LinkedIn? Professionals.
Yeah.
Do professionals own property?
Kinda.
Most of them do.
Yeah.
And that's an aspiration, a goal of theirs. Now they don't, because they are time poor professionals. They are. That's why I chose that platform. Where is my market? I need time poor professionals. Where do they go? LinkedIn. Sales navigator. Titles such as managing director, CFO, CEO. That's who I started adding because they are people who see the value in outsourcing services and see the value in people showing they can give knowledge and they're giving it a go at the very least.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's my train of thought. And if someone's check to see if you're valid is LinkedIn, you have to have a footprint there. Same as if it were Facebook or Instagram. But, you know, if I go to meet someone, the first thing I do is look them up on LinkedIn.
19th of June.
19th of June, yeah.
11
till 2. I'll put the link after this.
19 till 2, 11 till 2, 19th of June at the cluster on Queen Street. Make sure you get across. I think early bird finishes today.
It finishes tonight at 10 p.m.
Cheers. Quick,
yes,
go.
Yes.
Go. Now, is there anything else you wanted to mention at all?
I think the biggest thing, and as we spoke about off camera earlier, is that I just really hope in the real estate industry, I do get this feeling, there's a sense that the market is going to be picking up with a whole lot of announcements and a perfect storm of everything for first home buyers in the mix. I just hope that agents that are listening keep a hard work mentality, a good work ethic, and don't dip back into the market's hot where I'm good.
Don't be a headline reader, guys.
No.
Don't be a headline reader. All right, look, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for cutting your holiday short to come and spend some time with us. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm way more important than a family, obviously. Clearly. Look, thank you so much. You are an absolute superstar. You're a shining light, not just to females, but to startup business owners in general. I think you're a brilliant example, and I'm really, really chuffed that we got to connect early on. If you don't follow her, we'll make sure that we put her links under this as well.
Yes.
Make sure you connect with her directly. If you can, get a coffee with this woman as well. She's incredibly dedicated, lots and lots of time, but it is getting filled up. Yes. So make sure you get on board, get on this woman's train, because it's going to be worth the ride, all right? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy, gang. Read it out. We'll see you next time.